Another Tuesday, another update. There's going to be some things in this update that you love, some things you hate, and we're going to talk about all of them today. Now, there's pretty much updates around the board. Zombies, Blackout, multiplayer, pretty much every single game mode got some pretty substantial updates, so this is probably going to be one of the longer update videos. On top of that, in multiplayer, a lot of the weapons got some buffs, so we're going to be going through all of those a little bit later on in the video. I will put timestamps down in the comments, and I will put timestamps on screen here for the different modes. That way, if you're only interested in Blackout or only interested in multiplayer, then you will know exactly where to go in the video. However, we are going to start this video the same way we start all of our update videos, by starting with the things that are new that got added into the game. Now, before we dive into the update, I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be streaming later tonight over on Twitch. The link to that will be the first one down in the description. I'll be starting probably around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be playing everything new. The new multiplayer mode, I'll be doing an open lobby there, so you guys can play it with me. I'm also going to be trying out the new Zombies map, which I don't normally play, but I figure since it's new today, we'll give it a shot over on the live stream. So like I said, first link down in the description, and I'll see you there around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll start out with Zombies, because I have the least to say about that. So the big thing added to Zombies is, of course, the new map called Ancient Evil. This came out today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a new map. There's also some big changes made to Zombies as well. There's new elixirs, new talismans, and even some weapons were buffed in the game as well. So I'm not going to go through all of those because I'm generally focused on multiplayer and Blackout, but if you want to check out all of those patch notes about Zombies, they'll be linked down in the description, so you can check out the whole patch notes. So moving on to the black market, there really isn't much new in the black market. We all assumed that we were getting a new contraband stream with 25 tiers, the new weapon for multiplayer, the Mini 14, but that is not the case. We actually got no new contraband stream, so nothing is there. However, we did get some new items in reserves, 4 new items, 1 character skin, and 3 weapon variants. So these are all Mark II variants, and in fact, when you boot up the black market, you are going to get a case that gives you 1 free Mark II variant. So that's kind of cool, a free item. However, what's not cool is the one new thing that they did add in this week, the triple play. So with this triple play, you get a new melee weapon called the Home Wrecker. On top of that, you get another weapon crate, which is going to give you another Mark II variant. On top of that, you're getting 10 cases and 10 tier skips for $28. No, you did not hear me wrong. $28, almost $30. For 1 melee weapon, essentially. There's really nothing else in here you really want. So $28 for a melee weapon. I have no idea what Activision is thinking, but I highly recommend not buying this. In fact, I will give you some other things that cost $30 that you can buy instead. So for $30, you can buy a full game like Assassin's Creed. Or, you know what? If you want to play a game with a friend, you can buy 2 copies of GTA 5. On top of that, a newer game like Monster Hunter World, also only $19. On top of that, if you're hungry, you can buy yourself 120 chicken nuggets or 5 guys for 3 days in a row. On top of that, if you want to up your Instagram game, go ahead and buy yourself an inflatable unicorn. The point I'm getting at is that this is way too freaking expensive, and I don't know what Activision is thinking. Quite honestly, if a melee weapon is locked behind a paywall, I don't really mind. It's a weapon that doesn't change the game whatsoever. It is just for aesthetic, so it doesn't really bother me. But $28? Really, Activision? But really, that's all that was new in the black market. They didn't really add anything to the blackjack shop. If you didn't get the Vampire Hunter early on, you can get that. But other than that, that's all that's new in the black market. So after this, moving on to multiplayer, the featured game modes we got this week is a new one, Barebones Mosh Pit, which we'll talk about in a minute. We've also got Gun Game, Mercenary Deathmatch Mosh Pit, Mercenary Hardcore Mosh Pit, and finally Hardcore Barebones Mosh Pit, which is of course the same thing as Barebones Mosh Pit, but in hardcore. So let's talk about this new game mode. So this is Barebones Mosh Pit. Essentially, it's the same Call of Duty we have now, but no specialist characters. On top of that, you can't have special issue equipment, gear, in other words, stim shot, and finally operator mods. So no double tap for the auger, for example. So the question is, how does this game mode play? So first of all, you have to adjust your classes, which is completely fine. But honestly, it plays really, really well. It plays like an old school Call of Duty, which to me really hits close to home, and I really do enjoy playing this game mode. However, there are some massive problems with this game mode, simply because there's a lot of things that get used in this game mode that haven't been balanced properly. First of all, I think frag grenades are okay. They're a little bit annoying to dive out of the way of, but still a little bit annoying. But the big problem is concussions. So concussions are unlocked a little bit later on, so I wasn't personally allowed to use them. However, a lot of enemies just constantly throwing concussions at you. Now, they only get one per life, which does help it a little bit, but the problem is the concussion lasts for such a long amount of time that you are almost constantly concussed throughout a game of Barebones. Now, you can use Tac Mask, which helps, but still, if you get hit by a concussion, you're probably still going to get killed, and there isn't really anything you can do about it. It is super annoying, but other than that, I really do enjoy this game mode. Some things that I would personally change is I would personally change it and make it so that your time to heal is the same as when you are using Stim Shot in regular multiplayer. The reason being is if you play really aggressive, it is very difficult to constantly be healing yourself because of that longer refractory period between being able to heal yourself. So if you make it so that Stim Shot is applied to everyone, first of all, it's fair, everyone has that ability, and it allows players to play more aggressively. Also, I didn't realize it till I played this game mode, but having body armor gone is really, really nice. It allows you to free up some slots for something like the auger that I normally use the FMJ attachment with. You now no longer have to, and it's just really nice not running into body armor, so that's a nice addition as well. But all in all, I really like Barebones. I'm probably going to be playing it more than the normal game modes in multiplayer, so really nice to have a nice change of scenery. So after this, we have our weapons tuning update for multiplayer, and the weapon tuning is different in every single mode: Zombies, multiplayer, and Blackout. So this that I'm talking about right now only applies to multiplayer. So the first thing that got changed is submachine guns. So first of all, the Cordite got increased sprint out speed, so a faster sprint out speed, and extended 5-shot range from 2.5 meters to 4 meters. So a pretty considerable buff for the Cordite. On top of that, one of them, to my surprise, the Daemon, actually got a buff. They extended the 6-shot range from 8 meters to 11.5 meters. This is actually a pretty big deal, because if you are using high caliber and get one headshot, that's not a 6-shot range, that's a 5-shot range. So a pretty big deal there. On top of that, the MX9 getting increased aim down sight speed and increased sprint out speed. I think this is good. It's still not going to be the most competitive SMG simply based off of time to kill, but this does make it quite a bit better. The Spitfire got buffed, extended the 6-shot range from 7 meters to 7.5 meters. That's a very small buff, but still a buff. The most surprising one to me, the SOG 9mm got a buff, increased sprint out speed. Really, I don't think the SOG 9mm needed this, but hey, it got a buff. The weapon with the biggest buff is the Switchblade X9, increased magazine size from 26 to 30. That's absolutely needed. Good buff there. And then players now spawn in with 3 extra magazines instead of 2. So the time to kill isn't improved for the Switchblade, but more magazines, more ammo, more shots, going to be a little bit easier to kill people. Now, the weapon that I think is going to be now one of the better weapons in the game is the first assault rifle, the KN57. It got 2 pretty big buffs. So it's extended 4-shot range from 16 meters to 17 meters, which is just 1 meter. Not overly huge, but does make the weapon better. But the big one extended 5-shot range from 46 meters to 57 meters. So an 11-meter difference. So you're not often going to get into gunfights with the KN at that range, but when you do, it is going to help a lot. After that, the ABR gets increased aim down sights in speed, also increased ammo from 30 to 36 bullets, and finally extended 4-shot range from 32 meters to 38 meters. This is all around a pretty enormous buff for the ABR, and it might actually be competitive now. I haven't had a chance to use it in game, but I am curious to how it feels. Up next, sniper rifles. First of all, the Paladin HB50 got an increased magazine size from 5 to 6, and the reload speed reduced. We kind of already talked about that one in the last video yesterday. However, the reason why they're doing this is for all of you quick scopers. You're now able to get a little bit easier 6-man feeds because you don't have to reload, but still the reload speed is going to be longer. The SDM got an increased fire rate, in my opinion, absolutely needed. This kind of brings it more onto par with the auger, because remember, if you're using high cal with the auger, it is a 2-bullet kill similar to the SDM. After this, all of the pistols but the Cap 45 got a buff. So the RK7 Garrison got the biggest buff. They got increased damage, now takes 1 less bullet to kill at all ranges. In my opinion, this is 100% needed. This gun was just simply not very good before this buff. The Mozu got an extended 3-shot range from 19 to 24 meters, an extended 4-shot range from 25 to 32 meters, and an extended 5-shot range from 32 to 38 meters. So once again, pretty good for the Mozu. And finally, in my opinion, this is now going to probably be the best pistol by a long shot. The Strife got an increased fire rate. The Strife was already pretty good. Now I think it's going to be a pretty damn good weapon. But that is all of the weapon buffs. There is absolutely no weapon nerfs. Yes, you guessed it. The Titan still wasn't nerfed this week, so it may never happen, guys. I hate to say it. I'm going to stay on top of it, but it may never happen. So aside from that, in multiplayer, there were just a lot of bug fixes. I'm not going to go into all of them. If you want to read those, like I said, patch notes down in the description. But one thing that you may want to know about is XP. They increased the amount of XP for a lot of things. For example, all score streak kills, you are now going to get an extra 100 XP. Not score, it won't help you get more score streaks, but you are going to be getting more XP. This is similar to a lot of other things like killing the K9 unit, destroying an RC car. There's a lot of things that you are now going to get more XP for, making it a little bit easier to rank up in multiplayer. Moving on to Blackout, and you may notice when you first load up a game, there is now a loading screen as if it was a multiplayer match, how it's kind of like some beauty shots of the Blackout map, which is interesting and makes me think that they might possibly be adding more than one Blackout map, because why would they need separate loading screens? But at the same time, it could also be for the map's different aesthetics. As we know, right now it's kind of like the spring aesthetic, but we've also seen the fall aesthetic, and we are looking towards a night map as well. So it's possible that this is just to show what type of map you are loading into if they implement the older maps or newer maps all together in one. But who knows, only time will tell. This is a lot of speculating. But as far as the things that changed in Blackout, so the first two big things are, first of all, the Sparrow is added in to Blackout, so you can now get that only from supply stashes and care package drops. On top of that, Zero's EMP grenade is now in Blackout, and pretty much the best use for this is using it to hit cars with the EMP grenade and causing people to get out of the car. So a pretty good piece of equipment being added there. I do like that one. On top of that, there was some weapon balancing. I'm going to put the whole thing up on screen here. I'm not going to read through all of these, but essentially most of the SMGs getting buffed as far as sprint out and aim down sights goes. Aside from that, this isn't really going to cause a change in the meta with the weapons that people are using. It's still going to be a lot of assault rifles, a lot of snipers, that kind of thing. Now, one other good update that I really like, especially for the players who can't play the game as much, is reactive camos. So now, reactive camos you're going to be able to use on every weapon, and you don't need gold for them. So in other words, to unlock the reactive camo, you don't have to have gold for the individual weapons to actually use it. So now you can use it on any weapon without having gold on it. So if you're just an average player who only gets to play a couple times a week, this is going to be really nice for you guys. But the one other thing with Blackout that I have to mention is that this week there's no new LTMs. You've got, once again, Hot Pursuit and Hardcore. Nothing new. I'm expecting probably a new LTM within the next couple of weeks. So hopefully we see that soon. But guys, that's pretty much the update. I'll leave a link to all of the patch notes down in the description. There's a lot of just little bug fixes you may be interested in. On top of that, there are also some big changes to League play, and I'm not going to go in and talk about all of those. I'm not a big League play player. I just simply don't like the ranking up system. I could make a whole future video on that though if you'd like. But if you're a League play player and you do enjoy it, like I said, go check out those patch notes. There's some pretty big changes to the ranking up, to the gameplay. There's now ricochet instead of just being able to kill your teammates. So it's pretty interesting, and if you're a League play player, you definitely want to check that out. But guys, that is the update. That's update 1.16. Hopefully you are up to date and know everything and can be the best Call of Duty player possible. So if I did help you out here, if you did enjoy the video, I'd really like it if you could hit that like button. Let me know what you think of the patch down in the comments below. Let me know what you think of a $28 melee weapon. On top of that, if you're new to the channel and like what you see here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on, as it is the best way to stay up to date on all of my videos. But guys, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are rich. searching for the stars.